Welcome to Superwoman Diaries, where each week we share personal stories and open up about our journeys. At Chasing Brighter, we know that being a woman today is complicated.
We want to get vulnerable. We know that vulnerability is where real connection happens. Get ready to dive deep and connect as we reveal the real and raw moments behind the scenes of our lives.
Hi, Kelly. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Jess. How are you? I'm good. I have some fun things I came across that I want to talk about today. We follow the female quotient, and they reposted this guy who went to ChatGPT and asked what would the world be like if men had their periods, and ChatGPT just did pages and pages, and it's so funny. The two things that struck me the most were that menstruating would be a symbol of strength, and all commercials would be about it being a symbol of strength. And the second one being that everyone would openly talk about it and there wouldn't be shame or stigma.
Yeah, I watched the reel and it was pretty funny. I loved how not only is it a symbol of strength, but how products would be seen as like macho and masculine, which are
Yeah.
super funny.
Yeah.
And to imagine, I was almost thinking, like, why aren't we doing that now? Why aren't people, like, even advertisers
Yeah.
really using that for women to be stronger, like
Yeah.
stronger advertising?
Yeah.
Because there's no reason why we can't do that now.
Yeah.
I love that they would have paid menstrual leave.
Yes. Yes. Paid leave. They would have ample period products available, right? They might
Clothing
have
would be
pain.
made
Yes.
to
Pain
support
relieving
it more.
stations, and sports and culture would be shaped differently. And then they said something about like action figures and like mid battle, they might have to deal with their period. To think about. And I was, it reminds me, I was watching something and this guy, I don't know who he is. Sorry, I don't know where I saw it, but he was like, you have to think about our culture. And men have been writing the scripts and choosing the characters for movies and books, right?
For so
Throughout our
long.
history. That everything that the way that they are showing women is from a man's perspective. And he was like, men don't understand women, and everything is from a male perspective. I think that goes back to why we've talked about Shonda Rhimes, who she says, I get all these accolades for how creative I am. And I just feel like I'm writing life. But we are not used to seeing real life play out on screen.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
a man would
Yeah.
never think, let me put a period in this movie. Oh, I have this movie with this female character. What are we going to do to address she might be menstruating during this time? So that wouldn't be something that would be seen. I thought that was a fun reel to see because ChatGPT just did pages and pages automatically of it, which just I thought was
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah. It is funny to think about the algorithm that ChatGPT would have used to
Hmm.
source that information in a way that it draws meaning and thoughts around it. It's pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. I think that's funny.
But I'm not surprised either. I
No.
think that's the
Yeah.
part that, like, growing up, it sucks, especially as a teenager in high school and stuff like that. That's the worst time. And even into college where it's like,
I started my period in elementary school.
it's hard.
There
It's
were
hard
no
to,
facilities for me. I think we talked about it. I'd have to go to my backpack hanging in the classroom in front of everybody and try to get a pad without everyone noticing. There were no receptacles in the stalls.
yeah.
And I would have to try to figure out how to like do this on my own with no one seeing it.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, in high school, even though it was the same, it was like at least there was like receptacles in the stalls. But I think we talked with Jessica Median about the
Mhm.
shame of periods and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's like, you and I said it
Yes.
wasn't anything that we really thought about. But then when
Yeah.
we were talking about it, we were like, oh, wow, yeah, there has been like shame and difficulty. And
Yeah.
even like in my office, I'm way back in the corner. And when I need to get a hygiene product, I tuck it in my pocket. I don't carry it openly for people to see that. So I'm going to the bathroom, which it's like, what if it wasn't a big deal and you were just like, oh, I'm going with my hygiene product into the bathroom?
Yeah.
It reminds
No,
me
so
of Gloria Steinem, who said if men could get pregnant, there would be drive-through abortion clinics. And that's what it reminds me of, right? Like when she said that and I heard that, it was like the first time, obviously, she said that before I was probably born, but that you're like, oh, wow, things would be different if men experience what I experience. And I never thought about that
yes.
before.
Yeah. I think the other part too is it's one of those where there's the saying about you won't know how I feel till you
Mhm.
walk a day in my shoes. And
Yeah.
it's like that part that gets
Yeah.
really frustrating where this is an example of how ChatGPT was like, if that happened, then the whole world would have periods. And if the whole world had periods, like this would be a very different definition of what it is
Yeah.
than how we define it today.
Yeah. Totally. I think so too. And I thought it was just asking that guy like had the idea and did that anyway too. Of like, let me ask. It's like all the things you want to ask because AI is just gathering, right, a compilation of what's already information that's already out there. So that's really fascinating. The other thing I wanted to talk about is happening in Switzerland, where people are saving up their time in a time bank. And if you are younger and you volunteer to help care for elders, you earn a coin throughout your lifetime. You can you deposit your coin for volunteering, and it goes into your individual Social Security account. And then when you're older and need assistance yourself, you can spend the coins that you have saved up. And if and Beijing is doing something similar, and if you get a coin for every hour, and then when you turn 60, you can start cashing them in, or you can donate them to your family members. And if you are able to save 10,000 coins, you earn a spot in a state-run nursing facility.
They also said that one in 10 are over 65, and by 2050 it'll be 1 in 6. So we have a
Um,
tremendous aging population, and also it's because people are living longer.
wow.
And I think that's part of this, and it's interesting that some of these countries are, like, getting ahead of it in creative ways. I love seeing countries do things that like, that's such a low cost, right, way, and also spending time. What I was expecting them to when you showed me that video clip or you shared that information with me, I was expecting when I first started reading it for them to talk about how that is helping the older people live longer, but it wasn't. It was just
Mm,
about, like, "Hey, if you do this, then, like, when you get old, somebody's
yeah.
gonna take care of you," and after everything that we've read, Jess, that the not only is that a wonderful thing in terms of reducing healthcare costs and other things, but, like, the power of the human connection and the
Yeah.
power of these older people having additional socialization, right? Additional friendships, additional relationships with these l younger caregivers, to me, seemed also a really incredible benefit.
Yeah, they've done studies that if children are able to have dinner multi-generationally, how that impacts children's, like, self-esteem and understanding and vice versa. So I think that it wasn't talked about in the study, but I think, like you're saying, there's gonna be the benefits to both people interacting, right? You're both gonna be changed by that emotionally and
Yeah.
psychologically.
Yeah, and it just got me thinking too, like, in terms of obviously career paths and, like, the future in general, the idea of the medical community and medical care and care for elderly is not going away. That's a huge opportunity, a huge market, and will
Yeah.
continue to be. Actually, like, tangentially, for when we were at Thanksgiving, he's got an aunt and an uncle that are in their 60s, they don't have any children, and they are super active, Jess, like, crazy super active. They hike every day, or they're outside every day. I shouldn't say hike because we are in Illinois and there's not a lot of hiking, but they're active every single day. They're retired now. They his uncle Mike bikes 40 miles on Saturday morning. He's, like, in his
Yeah.
60s, and he was telling me we were just chit-chatting, and he was just talking about him going to the gym and what he does. He's, "Oh, I really got into rowing," and I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Oh, I row." I was like, I was showing Wes how to row because I've been taking Wes to the gym. When you think about being on the rowing machine,
Yes.
5-ish minutes, maybe 10.
Oh, like,
I don't
20 to 30 or something? No?
He's on it like 40, 45 minutes, and then he
Wow.
does his weightlifting. This is why
Yeah.
he is incredible physique
Yes.
for a 60-year-old man. And he was talking about the gym, and then he was talking about the Jacob's ladder. Do you know the Jacob's ladder machine? Are you familiar with this machine? It's like a Stairmaster type of machine, but instead of
Oh, you're
steps,
standing
it's
and
rungs
your
on a
arm
ladder.
yeah,
You're not
okay.
standing, you're leaning at an
Yes.
angle because you're
Yeah.
climbing this ladder.
Right.
It is by far the most physically impossible machine.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I did it for like a minute and I thought I was gonna die.
Yeah.
He set a record at the gym. Jesse, he was on it. This was 2 years ago, so he was 60, in his 60s. 80 minutes. He did it for 80 minutes. He is
Did
like a
he
beast.
does he look super fit?
Yeah, he's like a bigger guy,
Yeah.
and he's got a lot of great just to nerd out, like, he's got a lot of great, like, muscle tone. He's not, like, skinny, scrawny. He's thicker, maybe,
Yeah.
but, oh my gosh, he is in incredibly great health. He's
Yeah.
probably gonna live a long time, but he wasn't I don't know if he was always healthy. He probably Brian that side of the family tend to be, like, thinner, just they're
Well,
not
I
like
don't mean thin. Do
oh, he's
they
so super
look,
healthy.
like,
It's
glowing?
funny.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people look
Great
healthy versus, like,
exactly, he looks
gray
totally
skin
healthy.
and yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. It's not
Right.
like he looks like a bodybuilder, and it's not like he looks
No,
like a
right,
skinny,
but
scrawny
that's why I feel like
person.
you can't see health necessarily, you know what I mean? Because I work out all the time, and you may not see that by looking at me, right? Because we think healthy looks a certain way.
They spend
But I think
hours
some
at the
people
gym.
I think our parents look great for their age.
I realize that I wanna be like Brian's uncle Mike and Robin, where
Yeah.
I think they spend a couple hours at the gym
Are they
many
still
days a week.
working?
No, they're both retired. And they travel all over. They're like early stages of their retirement. But I was like, "Oh my gosh." And they're not like obsessed with it. It's more like something for them to do. And I was like, I still sometimes are like, wow, like this world of not having children, then I can retire and I'd have nothing to worry about. Of course, you're going to the gym a couple hours every day because what else are you going to do? I don't have to like call my children, send them money. What
Right.
else
I
that you do
remember
when you're
there
in your
was, like, a
60s?
woman that was, like, 110 or something, interviewed her, and they were like, "What's the key to longevity?" And she was like, "I never got married, I never had kids." I what is going around right now, Dr. Peter Attia, Fasting MD, who we follow, like, everyone is talking about if you want to improve your cognitive functioning, the one thing you can do right now is go exercise. And
Yeah.
that is why I think our parents have always been physically active. I think they really modeled physical activity. I remember mom turned 40 and was running every morning. Remember, she'd run at the stop sign and back
She did a
and was
10K.
training.
Yeah.
Yes. And I remember in their 50s, they did triathlons. And
Yeah.
every day they walk, they have a treadmill, but they walk outside every single day. They are always walking, and dad's closing his rings on the Apple Watch. And so I do when they were athletic, like, when we were really little, they played softball, they were
Yeah.
part of, like, teams
Yeah.
and leagues. So I felt like that was really modeled,
Yeah.
for us to be physically active.
Jesse, I totally agree with you. I remember playing tennis with mom and dad when I was a
Mhm.
kid. Like just they golfed. They were very active and we're raised that way and try to do the same thing. I
Um,
really try to aside from just having a physical routine, but especially just doing things with your kids is fun.
yeah. Is
You
Brian still
you know?
working out a lot?
He's in a bit of a slump right now,
Yeah.
but he does his walking
Yeah.
slash running.
Yeah.
We went walking. It got really cold here, but on Saturday, because it was Small Business Saturday, and I was like, "Oh, I wanna go out and do something," and then we're totally lazy the whole Thanksgiving weekend aside from, like, family things, and he had to go to this grocery store to pick up something, and so I was like, "I'll go with you. Let's walk a longer way and then come back." So we were gone for we walked for well over an hour, and it was freezing out. It was, like, 20 degrees, and so I had, like, lots of layers on, and I put on my, like, leg warmers, and I, like, had wool socks with my shoes, and it was fine, and as much as when it's cold out, one does not necessarily it does not lend itself to being motivated to going outside. If you do have the right gear on, it's fine, and so am I doing that every day? No, but
Yeah.
if you just commit to it and get out there, it is a
Right.
lot of fun, and no, he is very good about getting his 10,000 steps. He probably gets 10,000
Great.
steps a day, like, 5 days a week instead of 7. He got a year. He did a year straight of 10,000 steps, and then I think he was like,
Wow.
"Meh, I did that."
I'm
Uh,
I know that physically moving is good, but for me, I have let go of the steps because I do so many other workouts. And so it's,
I think you do what
you know what
works
I
for
mean?
you,
And
and
so
I
it's,
think that's
yeah.
one of the people that I think we follow, we've talked about before, and I was gonna look him up while we were talking about, is Dr. James Nicolantonio Di
Mm,
Nicolantonio,
mhm.
and he is always posting, like, words to live by, and his mantra on in terms of exercise is to get at least 8,000 steps a day. Here's what he said. He was like, "The best way to lose fat and gain muscle at the same time: lift weights 3 to 5 times a week, walk daily for 60 minutes, eat 30 to 50 grams of protein, do cardio 3 times a week. Do this for 3 months and fat will melt." I appreciate the things he says here, and I think this is where I read that and I'm like, "Okay, I'm weightlifting 2 to 3 times a week. I'm trying to that to me, walking daily for 60 minutes on top of." So it's like all these things where I'm like, "Okay, if this is really where I need to be, it seems like I've got a ways to go."
But I
But
hear that and I'm like, I hate when people do that because you're a man, number one. I want to see the study on a menopausal woman. I did watch M Factor on PBS about women and menopause, and I encourage all
when
of our listeners.
is that a newer
It's the first documentary ever on
Oh,
menopause. You can get the
okay.
PBS app for free and watch it. It is incredible. Our brain and neurological cognitive functioning is a U curve during perimenopause, and not all women get back to previous functioning. So here's our cognitive functioning. Here's perimenopause. For some women, it doesn't get back up. And so they're just like our generation, Gen X and millennials are just starting to break the silence and talk about it. So I just have a hard time when people say, and then fat will melt. It's, you don't know my hormones. You don't know where I'm at. Like, I work out all the time and I have decided for my being, I work out for longevity and brain health and heart health. Working out to lose weight and melt fat doesn't work for me. And then that just puts me in a negative space.
I think there's a lot of new information coming out, and my trainer just went to a
Yes.
post, like,
Yes.
menopause training,
Right.
and she had a totally different view on training, and she said to in addition to strength training, that you need to do circuit women in those phases need to be doing more circuit training, and so she was trying to I think even in her own mind, trying to get her head around how does her own training approach evolve with that information, and
Yeah.
she's the only person at the gym, and maybe there's other programs, but, like, not many people at the gym have taken that training, which means not many people know this, which also
Right.
to me means it's not common knowledge. The other thing I just wanna by the way, Dr. James Nicolantonio, what he also posted, though, 6 weeks ago, so we don't have to throw him completely under the buses, he also said this where I feel like people just post shit on
Right.
Instagram,
Right. For
where he
clickbait.
was like, "I liked this one better," which was if you walk 30 minutes a day slept for 8 hours a night, drank water with electrolytes, lifted weights 3 to 5. He does like the weightlifting 3 to 5 times a week, ate 30 to 50 grams of protein per meal, and got morning and evening sunlight. In 6 months, you would be unrecognizable.
I'm trying to think of when I stopped my walking, Kelly. Maybe 2022? I'm trying to think because I was thinking I I was taking one of my children and we were driving somewhere and I just had flashbacks and I remember walking Gabby to that park.
I
And
think
it's a
walking
good
is
2 miles from our house
it's
uphill.
such a
Yes.
great way to get some exercise in.
Stress relief, heart health, mental health, walking 20 minutes twice a week elevates mood,
I think I
reduces
even said
anxiety.
in one of our episodes, I'm really trying to walk like 15 minutes a couple times a day. Did you ask how I've been doing with that? Have you? Not well. It
Mm.
seems very simple. Get up off your butt from your calls, go walk for 15 minutes, and then sit back down. Yeah, no, I'm not doing it.
I wouldn't be able to do anything until after school pickup in the evening, um, because my schedule is so tight. However, I think you and we have walked along the wash. It's called the Pittman Wash.
Yeah, I know. I love the Pittman Wash.
My new office is right off the Pittman Wash.
Oh, cool.
So I've been thinking because it's my office and my space, I might go spend more time there.
Yes.
When the days I work from
Yes.
home, I might go
Yeah.
there because I might make it cozy. And what I'm thinking of doing is making one of the offices like a conference room, but have a table and couch. I don't know, have it a different kind of space.
I was expecting you
Anyway.
to say you might make one of the rooms your crafting room.
No, I have multiple. No, I wouldn't be able to move all that stuff, but I do love the crafts.
I wonder if there's a way, by the way, I know you might be looking for a renter. Could you do, you know how, like for co-working space, I wonder if there's a website that you can post like a desk for X amount of dollars an hour and
Yes,
people can
yes.
reserve time.
No, that was my so there is a place there are these women that I was following, and they own a space in Minnesota, and the way that it works is you can rent like, you can have because I'm still thinking about this, I need to see how the mail works, but you can allow it to be a virtual space, so people can have their mail delivered there.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
The issue is I was thinking about this, I don't have reception or people there 24/7 to receive the mail, so I don't know what that would look like. I would have to go then
Yeah.
every single day and sort the mail.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so they had an option of just having your mail delivered there. They had the option of just getting a desk. They had the option of just reserving a conference room. So something I thought about doing was like posting on Therapists of Las Vegas and saying, I have a conference room that you can reserve.
Yeah.
And then just having that as a conference space. And then I wanted to I'm going to rent out one of the offices, but I'm trying to hold the space for my dietitian friend. And so that's why it's leaving it open a little bit. Cause what if I just love the renter and want the renter to stay? And then if I don't like the renter, I can make them leave. But anyway, so we'll see. I need to find an attorney to help draft up a
I'm
rental.
so excited for you in this new space. It's going to be awesome. It's going to
I'm
be awesome. You have
excited. I was
great things in store for
Yes.
2025.
And I was even thinking we could do our photo shoot there, depending on what it all looks like, right? Because we would have the whole space and it's
At least
near
an easy place
outdoor
to
areas.
change.
Yes, no kidding. But no, that is really exciting. And I know we're going to be talking a lot as well this month more about reflection and then of the year and intentions for 2025. And so I am excited to start reflecting and then setting new intentions for the next year.
Thanks for listening today. Don't forget to subscribe so you can hear our latest episodes as soon as they drop.
If you loved today's episode, share with a friend.
Join us each week as we bring you inspiring stories, expert interviews, and actionable tips to help you navigate the challenges and opportunities of midlife. From wellness to personal growth to connection and beyond, we've got you covered.
We are passionate about helping you live your brightest, most fulfilling life. Together, we'll explore new ways to thrive and grow, ensuring that your midlife journey is full of joy, purpose, and endless possibilities.
So, are you ready to chase brighter days ahead? Subscribe to Chasing Brighter now, and let's embark on this exciting journey together.
Find us on Instagram, Facebook at Chasing Brighter, or check out our blog at chasingbrighter.com and follow us. If you want to know more about Kelly and I, read our blogs, find more tips, tools, and resources, check that out at chasingbrighter.com. Thanks. Remember, your best life is just a listen away.